Okay, so when you first start with doing your scalloped braids, you're going to start just as if you were doing a regular braid. Preferably you'll put something in here for moisturizer, whether it be quick braid or even just a little bit of water. Some people even like to use gel. Once the braid is started, you're going to add your yarn, fold it in half, and add it into the braid. You want to grip this well enough that the braid will be secure, but not so much that the braid is not flexible enough to bend when you tuck up for the scalloped look. Some people like to section off the mane beforehand. I would do that, but would end up an alcoholic because this horse would not stand with numerous combs. So again, just like doing any other braid, you're going to take the excess, the tails of your yarn, wrap it around, and pull through. As you braid your horse multiple times, you'll get a feel for what's going to be a good working thickness for your horse's mane texture, length, and thickness, as well as the shape of the neck. And this is very rushed, just to give you guys a general idea. Now, a little less than halfway into the braid, so I'm going to add my yarn. Again, pulling moderately tight. Come down far enough that you're to the ends of your braids. Don't let your yarn get below any of your sections, because then you're going to have loss. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish doing these straight braids, and we will turn the camera back on when we are ready to start scalloping. Okay, so we now have an approximation of show quality straight braids coming down. You're going to be able to use a comb, your finger, or your crochet hook in order to keep each section relatively straight. If you need to add more of a texture substance at this point, you can, because this is just for practice. I'm not going to do that at this time. So if this is the first time you've ever braided this particular horse, you might want to use more and thinner braids in order to make the neck have a slightly different shape. Because this horse has a slightly thick, slightly short neck, I'm going to keep my braids relatively thick and far apart. So you can look at and assess whether things are going to look more flattering going to the next or going 2 braids over. You can even go 3 or 4 braids over if the mane is long enough. Also, another handy thing to consider is whether you want to go directly into the middle, the front, or the back of a braid when tucking in order to keep your lengths more consistent. So you're going to take your 2 little yarn tails, you're going to come up with your crochet hook. In this particular case, I'm going to come through more towards the front, and you tuck. You then do moderately tight wrap and knot at the back of your braid and double knot. Because this braid is a little bit longer, clearly I don't want to come here. I want to come just a little bit further back into my next braid in order to keep my length the same. Separate your 2 tails and double knot. This is a much longer, so I'm going to come towards the back of my next braid. Doing this outside for lighting, so between distraction and wind, it's not as smooth as it would normally go. Another nice thing about this particular braiding style is if you have a horse who's known for destroying braids, such as the French braid, this will keep better. And because the sections tend to be further apart, they're going to be a little bit less itchy and a little bit less prone to rubbing than they would with, say, a rosette or hunter braids. And not a lot of people utilize it. So it's just a neat way to give your horse a flattering look and be a little bit unique. Again, this is slightly longer. We're going to go further back into this section. You'll note, because these braids are further apart for a slightly shorter length, I'm now going to the very next one. You'll do this obviously with yarn that is very close in color to your horse's hair. I'm doing this just so you can see a little bit better with a contrast in color. Now when you start getting towards the base of the neck and you're running out of symmetrical scalloping options, you can either come forward if you need to, even going forward multiple braids. In this case, I'm still symmetrical coming to my last braid. Same thing goes with your very last braid. If you want to, you can come forward. In this particular case, because it's short, I'm just going to come right through the base of itself. So here you have a completely done mane. It's about a 15-minute process with this particular number of braids. Obviously, if I was going into the show ring, if I wanted to, I could either cut the nubs off, or you can just gel and hairspray them down if hair is of particular importance to you. You can do this on a shorter mane. Obviously not if you're pulled all the way up for hunter braids, but if you have a horse with a very thick mane that would be appropriate for rosettes, you can also do this. You would just do more braids, and you would just obviously tuck right into the very next one instead of being able to skip. Remember, you want to definitely take some time before a show, get to know your horse, see what will be a flattering look for your horse's neck and head. You can let these hang down on a horse whose neck will be flattered by that, or you can keep these up. Some people have even done the straight braids down and alternating scalloping forwards or backwards just to give it a slightly more intricate look. This particular braiding style is an absolute godsend if, like me, you show multiple horses with long hair at one show and you're not able to get them to keep a French braid style in because they like to rub or really play and fuss with their heads. This will stay sometimes for 2 or 3 days if you have a horse who's tolerant of braiding. It's very easy to keep neat, and you know, when you get practiced with it, you can get each horse done in 15 to 20 minutes. It gives you a nice clean look, something that's different and is really flattering and customizable to your horse's shape. So that's just a very quick tutorial on how to do the scallop braid. I've had 30 people ask me in the last week, so I figured it was about time. So I hope you enjoyed. Lena has definitely enjoyed her patience exercise. And if you have any questions, just send me a message. Thanks.